I think we're live. All right. Hi. Welcome back to an episode of The Drive. I'm Nathan Beagle here with my good friend Riley Johnson. And Riley, it's been a while, man. We haven't done an episode and podcast in a minute, but we are back. How you feeling on this great day?
I'm feeling pretty good. Sun's out. It's beautiful, and I'm ready for the summer.
Yeah, it's definitely a good day. Shout out to everyone that's been graduating college this weekend, past weekend, all across America. You did it. Congratulations. Proud of all y'all. But another day that is nice outside is what's leading up to this Tuesday. We're going to kick off the NBA. The first ever play-in tournament is going down. And basically, this is what the little play-in through looks like. We got the 7th and 8th seed playing against each other, and the 9th and 10th seed get a chance to participate in the playoffs, which I think is pretty wild if you look at that. So we're going to take a look at these standings right here. We're going to start off by going out to the West, where right now the Pacers are playing the Lakers. The Lakers are playing to get out of that play-in tournament. Riley, what's it looking like right now?
Well, the Lakers are up 110-97. And there's only about 7 minutes left to go in the fourth. So it's kind of a fairly close game here. Pacers are fighting to keep that home court advantage against the Washington Wizards, who are hot right now. And like you said, the Lakers are trying to get out of that play-in tournament. I know LeBron doesn't want to be in it. And if they can do that, they're going to do everything they possibly can.
And then the Portland Trailblazers go on to play the Denver Nuggets later. And if Portland goes on to lose, the Lakers will go take that 6th seed, and we'll see Portland in that play-in tournament. So if everything stands so far, we'll have the Lakers playing the Warriors in a good old Steph Curry versus LeBron James matchup. And then we have the Grizzlies.
We've seen before many times.
Many times, just on a different stage. So we're going to start in the West. Like, who do you see coming out? Like, when this play-in tournament starts Tuesday, who do you see coming out this tournament?
Well, it's not really a tough one to say, but at the same time, it's the playoffs. It's the first play-in tournament ever. The 9th and 10th seed really feel like they have a shot. So, they're going to give it their all. And I honestly see the Lakers and the Warriors coming out of this, but don't be shocked by the Grizzlies. Ja Morant and that young squad, they're definitely you could see them get in it by maybe defeating the Warriors or, I really don't see the Lakers losing two. I just don't see it with the way that who LeBron is and his playoff experience. You got the Spurs at the 10 seed, but, Greg Popovich, great coach, but I just don't see that the team that they have, I see them losing. And just not having a chance to move on to the second game into the play-in tournament.
So, real break right here. We're going to look at the Memphis and San Antonio, basically, to keep their season alive, win or go home. Who do you think comes out of that?
I definitely see the Grizzlies coming out of that. They're just better, younger, faster. I do like the Spurs. Like I said, Greg Popovich and everything going on there. They have experience, but like I said, I just see the Grizzlies coming out of that one.
Yeah, we're gonna take a Grizzlies, and then 7th and 8th seed. Like I said, we have the classic LeBron versus Steph. Now the Lakers are winning, but the Golden State Warriors are playing on fire. Steph Curry's been having a hell of a month the past month or so, and basically gave him a shot at MVP talks. But who comes out of this game and retains the 7th seed? It's just going to depend on how healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis are. Now they're all battling injuries right now, and just going to depend how they're feeling. I know seeing the Lakers lose 2 in a row is pretty improbable, but
it's the playoffs. Anything could happen, like you said.
I could see the Warriors low-key winning that one, taking the 7th seed, but then the Lakers coming out to the 8th seed, basically, which means they would be playing the Utah Jazz in the first round.
Ooh, that facing one of the best teams in the NBA currently.
Mm-hmm. And now, with that being said, I'm going to move over to the Eastern Conference and look where it's all set in stone, pretty much. We have the Boston Celtics, who were hurting without Jaylen Brown, out with a wrist injury, out for season.
Yes.
We got the Charlotte Hornets, who are right there in the 8th seed, along with the Pacers right now at the 9th, and the Washington Wizards at the 10th. So this right here, I think, is going to be real interesting to see who comes in. Because right here, I think it's just a coin flip. I know it's up for grabs for anybody. The Wizards could get that 7th seed just because, Westbrook's been able to haul his team together once they're all healthy. We're going to start with that 7th, 8th seed. Who do you got coming out of that, Riley?
I think that's gonna be a great matchup. The Celtics versus the Hornets. You got LaMelo Ball potentially to win Rookie of the Year. Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier. The Hornets have been playing pretty well. The record, they're 33 and 37. So there wasn't a playoff play-in tournament. They'd already be in the playoffs, but I think this game could go either way, but I'm going to go ahead. I love Jason Tatum, and I think Celtics, they have the star power, but I'm going to go with the Charlotte Hornets here.
Yeah, the Celtics have just been playing ugly recently, and I really don't know what's going on. They've lost 4 in a row, and they just cannot hold it down right now. I think Jaylen Brown might have been part of their key piece of what helped them all together. But it doesn't help when you lose a star. But
absolutely does not.
The Hornets have played tremendous. LaMelo Ball, is looking like a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Right now, to interrupt you, the Hornets are down by 2 to the New York Knicks with 1:08 left. So they would be 34 and 37 if they won. If not, they're 33 and 38. But I just thought I'd point that out because, like you was saying, it's kind of set in stone here. But I know the Pacers are fighting for home field advantage in this play-in tournament because the Wizards' record is 33 and 38. So you can go ahead, but I just thought I'd let you know that because that does kind of mean something right there.
Well, if the Pacers losing, I feel like them both, unless the Wizards go out and start winning, I feel like it'd be pretty set in stone how it is. But basically come out of this, I'm actually gonna roll with the Hornets. I'm gonna go with the young guns. They're playing real hungry right now. And the Celtics just look like they don't know what they're doing. They need to pull themselves together. And we're going back to your Pacers and Wizards. Russell Wilson's just been on a tear against the Pacers.
He's been on a tear all season long. Averaged a triple-double, and now he has the most.
Shout out to him, most in NBA history.
Absolutely. Kind of never thought that Oscar's record would be broken, but it is now. And so it's just kind of crazy to see that someone can do it and someone did do it. And congratulations to him.
It's just crazy because, I thought it was going to be one of those records that would never be broken. But now just how the game and pace of the NBA today, just stats just are up through the roof for how fast the game is played. So, and it don't surprise me, but, it happened so soon. And I saw a stat that Russell Westbrook, through his first 6 seasons, only had 33 triple doubles, and that's his first 6 seasons. That's crazy.
And I think he's averaging a triple double every game.
He's done it for the past 4 seasons,
and that's not easy to do. But when you are a freak of nature, like he is, hey, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go with the Wizards and Hornets come out of this play-in tournament. I think that's going to be the most wild, whack part of it. But I think and that's what's crazy. A lot of people we've seen LeBron come out saying he doesn't like this play-in tournament, or he did like the play-in tournament. And now that he's actually in the play-in tournament, he thinks everyone needs to be fired that made this idea.
Yeah, but from a fan perspective, we love it so much. But I have to agree with you there. I think the Hornets and the Wizards come out. The Pacers just plagued with injury right now. Miles Turner hasn't done too well. Sabonis didn't play tonight, so that really hurt their chances, especially LeBron coming back. And, TJ Warren didn't play all year long. Michael Brogdon, he's injured right now. He didn't play. Jeremy Lamb didn't play either. So it just kind of sucks to see that. But it is what it is. Injuries is just part of the game. And so the Wizards have been able to be more healthy. Even though they're a 10 seed, him and Bradley Beal, that team just did not get off to the best start towards this beginning of the season. But I think they really came together and had that team chemistry.
Yeah, because they didn't play together to start off the season. So it's hard to get that chemistry and hard to actually ball when you don't have the whole team together. But they came together at the right moment, at the right time, and now we're fighting for a spot in the final.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely the Hornets and the Wizards coming out. It's kind of crazy, an 8 seed and then a 10 seed to like see it be like that. But it's exciting. It's new this year, and I love it. And if they continue to do this, I think it's awesome because then teams who are on that bubble 8, 9, 10 seed, or maybe even 11, because I know the Bulls were behind the Wizards, and I know exactly wouldn't have got in those COVID protocols. They could possibly be in the Wizards spot or even the Patriots spot as well. So. It's just kind of cool to see, and I think it's going to be a cool thing to come because teams can't tank, and we're going to be able to see like really close matchups and be like, okay, who's going to really make it in at the end of the day.
Another great thing what you just said, tanking. I know the NBA has been facing a big tanking problem past couple seasons, and I honestly think this might solve it because if you can go down to the 10th seed, just 2 more opportunity spots to make the playoffs, and you don't need to tank, and fans don't like to see tanking. So I feel like this will be a play-in thing for the future to come. Absolutely. And I really hope it does stick around. So while we got the schedule up, we're going to move on to our next topic. It's the end of this season. The season's always filled with surprises. And Riley, I want to say, we start in the Eastern Conference. What's your biggest surprise of what you see right here? Good or bad?
I would say my biggest surprise is I'm just going to say it. I think the New York Knicks, they're the 6th seed. They're in the playoffs this year. I know it's been the first time since 2012 to 2013. So it's really cool to see that they are in the playoffs. Julius Randle really took over that team. I think he'll win the most improved this year. Derrick Rose is back on that team. Tom Thibodeau is coaching. And so it's just really nice to see that something's going right for New York for once. And like I said, it's just kind of crazy that they haven't been in for so long and now they're in. But you eventually got to make the playoffs, and their time is now. And kind of funny, they would play like if the season stays and everything, they would be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. And hey, who knows? I mean,
that could be an interesting series right there.
That could go 6 games or something like that. But I think my biggest surprise are the New York Knicks making the playoffs. But I'm super excited that they're in. What about you? What do you think?
Oof, as much as I want to say the Knicks too. I just know that Tom Thibodeau just brings a winning culture no matter where he goes. Mm-hmm. And when he's got the crew to do it that listens and buys into what he's preaching, good things are going to come out of it. I'm going to go with a negative here. One of the things surprised me is the Boston Celtics being in that play-in tournament. I know they did lose Jaylen Brown, but even before then, they were sitting at like the low 5th, 6th seed. That's just pretty tough. And now they have the opportunity to maybe not even make the playoffs. Another thing that surprised me, they're not even on here right now, is the Raptors and how bad they've been performing this year. I know they went out, they lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, basically the last 2 veterans on their team, and basically made this solely Pascal Siakam's team.
I was like, Kyle Lowry didn't perform too well this year. I know he had some injuries, but
yeah, I just I thought they would have been in this play-in tournament at that 9th or 10th seed, but no, they just at the bottom. So that's tough to recover. Hopefully, I know Toronto usually does good in the off season, so maybe they'll pull through. But yeah, I'm gonna go with, when we look on the negative side here, I think the Boston Celtics was definitely one of the negative surprises this year.
Absolutely, to be that far down.
And we're gonna move over to the West side, and let's look at some surprises here. Honestly, I'm just gonna say the Suns, just because of how well they perform. And I know Chris Paul he's definitely a culture changer. Like I said, with Tom Thibodeau, he just knows how to win and just put dogs around him to help win. And I just didn't think they'd be the 2nd seed. I was thinking maybe 5 or 6.
I was gonna say 5 or 6, maybe 4 if they really were doing well.
But now they went way above and beyond. And well, congratulations. Love to see Chris Paul, ageless wonder out here, point guard out here doing what he does best. And congratulations to him. And he's in the talks of MVP too at his ripe age. We want to talk about LeBron, how old he is, and Chris Paul's up there in age too, and he's in the MVP talks. I think that's pretty remarkable as it is. Riley, what you thinking?
Obviously, I want to say the Suns as well, just because they are the 2nd seed in the West, just because the West is so hard and it is so stacked. But I do congratulate them, and with Devin Booker and everything they've been doing and their team chemistry. So great to see him at the 2nd seed. But I think my biggest surprise is I want to say Lakers, but with Braun being out for so long, and I mean, I'm not surprised that they did fall, so I can't say that necessarily. So if I had to pick one here, I would probably have to say the Golden State Warriors, just because I didn't have them in the playoffs this year. I really didn't think that they were going to be able to make it just because they did lose Clay. He's a huge part of their offense, and just didn't know how well Curry was going to do. I know they're a pretty young team, even though they still have Draymond, who's a big piece. But I don't know. I just didn't think that they would make the playoffs or kind of be hovering around it. But they definitely surprised me, and I know James Wiseman, he's been out. He's out for the rest of the season, but I just didn't think that they would be in the playoffs this year, and I thought that maybe next year, once they got Clay back and they'd be full healthy, then they'd be able to have a better run for the playoffs. But Curry's having a phenomenal season, and kind of like you said, maybe he could be like in the MVP talks, but just too late. I mean, I love like what he's done, but he just hadn't done it all year. But it's just crazy to see. He's a game changer. He's changed his game, and I'm a big fan of Curry, but I just very surprised by the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, and like you said, Wiseman's out too. Like they've been able to do this without their rookie, and Wiseman's a phenomenal player. So hopefully, what they've done so far is nothing to be ashamed of. But we got a game update right now. It's 111-108. The Lakers up by 3 with 2:51 remaining in such a crucial game. That's the Pacers went on a little late game run right there, so that's pretty interesting.
It is. Like I said, the Lakers need it. The Pacers need this. So I mean, they both need to win here, but who wants it more? Yeah. And that's why it's playoff time. It's here. We're ready.
Yeah. So right here, what are you like rooting for right here? Because I know you're a Pacers fan, but I know you're also a big Anthony Davis fan. So right here in the moment, what are you pulling for?
I'm kind of pulling more for the Lakers to win this game, just so hopefully they don't have to be in the play-in tournament. So LeBron can rest up, AD can rest up a little bit because he was questionable going into today's game. But I would love to see the Pacers win, but I realistically don't see them making the playoffs. I see them losing to the Wizards. So it's not necessarily like that I want the Pacers to lose. It's just I don't see them getting out of the play-in tournament. So just because they're plagued with injuries. So I'd rather see the better team win this. And LeBron just hit a 3. Nice. So that was closer to 3 minutes left. But I'm definitely pulling for Lakers to win here, but I would definitely like to see both teams win.
All right. So with it being the end of the season, the awards are coming out. We talked about MVPs, most improved. So Riley, we're gonna give out who is your MVP. We're gonna give out a few awards. Who is your MVP this season?
My MVP this season would definitely have to be Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. Just the way he's been playing, the way he facilitates that team, the way he passes, the way he shoots. I mean, he is the anchor on that team. I mean, they did lose Jamal Murray, which was a huge piece. But the Joker has been able to keep them like afloat, and even better.
And Michael Porter's been holding it down.
Michael Porter has been holding it down. I saw him one game go in the first quarter. He was 5 for 5. He had from the 3-point land. He was 4 for 4. So he was just balling. It was crazy to watch that game. But yeah, they're doing well. But I would have to give it to Jokic, even though Embiid has had a great season. The 76ers have the best record in the East, and I don't know if that's going to play in a factor in maybe if Joel Embiid wins the MVP this year. But there's also other candidates like Curry and Chris Paul. So it's just so cool to see like many different positions fighting for that MVP. But I think Jokic, I think that he has it for sure. But what do you think? I mean, I know like you so like the tough. Big men. I know Towns is one of your favorite players. Right, but who do you think do you see like really taking home the hardware?
It's hard because I really would love to see Chris Paul win this just because he was able to turn around the Suns. The Suns were like a lottery pick last year. And now they're the second seed in the West. So I would love to see that. But I know the MVP usually goes by stats a lot of times. And the Joker's really just putting up Russell Westbrook kind of. I can't even say that now, but he's a triple-double machine like Westbrook.
Exactly.
Westbrook's been out here playing 20 and 20, insane triple-doubles. but I'm just gonna have to go with the Joker. Unfortunately, man deserves it. There hasn't been a center MVP since Shaq. Shaq, and that was almost 20 years ago. So it's good to see. And that the top in the race, there's also another center in Joel Embiid. So I'm glad to see that the big man are getting some notable features out here.
I was saying, you can even see it. I believe the Jokic has played every game this season. So I think that's definitely something to take in consideration.
I know the Joel Embiid was out for a hot minute.
He was. So Jokic on the season is averaging 26 points, 56% shooting, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. And it's not like he just takes like shots like in the paint like a true center. Like he's taking threes. He's taking these turnaround like shots. Like he's taking contested shots.
That's crazy.
So
and they're doing it without Jamal Murray too.
They are.
I'm just happy my man Michael Porter Jr. is holding it down. I know. Okay, I gotta ask you this now. I don't know if you've seen that. I forget who it was, but they're comparing Michael Porter Jr. to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's like, nah, he's his own machine. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've seen those. I think Michael Porter Jr. is he's something of his own breed, kind of like Kevin Durant said. I don't think we'll see another player like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's kind of like really his own player. I mean, you can try and compare people to Kevin Durant, but Michael Porter Jr. is going to be Michael Porter Jr. At the end of the day, he may have like a great career, but I mean, with how tall he is and how like he's able to shoot,
they're tall, they're lanky, they can shoot.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I can see that, but I don't think he is the next KD or is it KD. I just think he's a Michael Porter Jr.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's like the stereotypes of like in 2K when you're building your players.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you build like that player, like, and you'll see like the names of like simulators, you'll see Kevin Durant, Michael Porter, Brandon Ingram. I see they'll have like those names.
I was saying they compared Brandon Ingram to Kevin Durant as well.
That's crazy.
And I like Brandon Ingram, but I mean, he's a different kind of player. I guess I kind of see him more like Kevin Durant, but if I had to say who's more like Kevin Durant, I would say Michael Porter Jr. Because he's just the way he's been playing this year, able to like show out like who he really is. I know last year he wasn't really used that much because Jamal Murray was there, and they obviously run their offense through those two. But with Michael Porter Jr. getting better in the way he is, he's definitely gonna be and is a big piece of that offense right now. So.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna wrap up this NBA talk with a little hot take, a little at the buzzer, so to speak. That's gonna be a new hot take segment. So, like last week, Kendrick Perkins came out saying that it's harder to win a championship in the NBA than any other sport, or I think NFL is the big comparison. So, I want to hear what you guys have to say and what Riley has to say. What do you think it's harder to win a chip in the NFL or the NBA? Riley, we'll start with you.
Well, there are a lot more players on the NFL than there are in the NBA. The NBA, I believe, is a longer season than the NFL. But in the NBA or in the NFL, let me phrase that again. In the NBA, you don't have guys tackling you. People may foul you pretty hard, but it's not like they're punching or doing anything like that back in how basketball used to be played. But I would say that it's harder to win a championship in the NFL just because there's 12 players. There's just a lot more to take in consideration. You're playing outside, all these other things. In the NBA, you're inside. There's only 5 guys on a court compared to 12 in the NFL. And I don't know. I mean, I understand like him like putting up that debate, but at the same time, I think it's just a lot harder in the NFL. I mean, like I said, you're getting tackled, you're getting concussions, you're getting this, you're getting that. You're more prone to getting injured. So I would say it's harder to stay healthy and be ready to win a championship in the NFL because it's win or go home every single game. The NBA is not like that.
Yes.
You get a best of 7. So, I mean, you have a bad game, you get a bounce back. In the NFL, you throw 3 picks, hey, you're SOL, man. Like, it is what it is. Your backup's coming for you.
Yeah, that's it. NFL. There's the more wear, grind, and tear on it, which is why there's less games. And I think the big aspect of it is with the playoff format. In NBA, you have one bad game, like you said. You got time. It's a best of 7. You got time to make up for it. NFL, you have one bad game. That's the end of the season. Another
Yeah,
thing that I
exactly.
like I feel like there's more unity in the NFL just because you need all 11 people doing their jobs at the same time. It's harder for one person to like totally take control, like the NBA, like Kobe Bryant. You give him the ball, y'all know it's Kobe, he's shooting it. But like to get the ball to a wide receiver to take off, you need a good quarterback. There's a lot of more factors that go into NFL compared to just giving the ball. More physical too. I'm definitely going to go with the NFL is definitely harder to win a chip. You see less repeats too. So I think that's probably a reason why it's harder to injuries. Injuries hard on all aspects of all sports.
Yeah, money's kind of different as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to correct myself. It's been a long NFL offseason, and I've just been so much into basketball. But there's 11 players on the field at a time, not 12.
Sorry, I made that mistake
so,
too. Hey,
I was just thinking of being a fan, being really into it. I'm on the field as well. So I'm telling the players what to do.
If you go out to Seattle, you are playing against a 12th man. So
that is true. But yeah, I mean, I think we can both agree. I mean, what do you guys think though? I mean, is the NFL harder? Is the NBA harder to win a championship? And I think you made a great point by you don't see many back-to-backs. The money's different. Players are getting hurt. Not everyone is. It really comes down to coaching and like all those things as well.
All right, well, that's the perfect bridge to make us go. We're going to switch over to NFL. Basically, the latest hoo-ha going on right now is what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers? Right, earlier this week, Blake Bortles just signed there, and basically nothing has been cleared up so far. Aaron Rodgers wants to leave, and basically Devontae Adams says, if Aaron goes, I'm going to be rethinking about where I go. But the office has come out saying they don't want to trade him. So, like, what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he's going to be gone? Does he sit? What happened?
I mean, there's so many things that could happen to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I've heard things that he could be getting traded to Denver, or he might want to go to Denver, or he might want to go to the Raiders, or, he might want to go 49ers. I mean, not really too, unsure of his future. I think it's wherever, he wants to go, where he wants to play. He could sit out if he really wanted to this year, but I think he does want to play. So, I don't know. I think he wants to be a Packer forever, but at the same time, maybe his future is kind of uncertain with, the things that have been – the decisions that have been made in the front office and whatnot. But – he hasn't won a ring in I don't know how many years it's been. I know
11 years. I
was going to say, I know it's been
since 2010.
Okay, so it's been a hot minute for him. So I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with going to a new team or going to a different team, but maybe I see him if he doesn't get traded by the start of the season, that I think he's going to stay this year, and then next year he'll go wherever he wants.
Yeah, it would be. I can see how he doesn't want to go. If he was younger, I would suggest, sitting it out like Ezekiel Elliott or something. Do something to try to demand better money or players around you. But
Tom Brady left, so
yeah, but he left somewhere to go. Here, that was more free agency. He still got time on his contract.
Yeah, that's true.
And if he wants to sit, that's just another age under the belt. That time's always a factor.
Time is always a factor.
And now what I think he should do is fulfill his childhood dreams and go to the 49ers. They said they were going to draft him, but then they ended up drafting Alex Smith. So I feel like this would be everything coming around full circle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but who knows how that's going to be. We're just going to have to.
It's his life, I guess. We'll see what he decides to do.
Yeah. So another news, I know it's a little late, but the NFL draft happened about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
And I just want to hear about your thoughts on the draft.
I think the draft went pretty well. I know all you Chicago Bears fans are excited out there. I know you are, Beaks, to see that you guys took Justin Fields from Ohio State. I mean, I was pretty happy for you guys. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that Mitchell decided to leave, so it was okay, who's going to be a quarterback? And you guys got Andy Dalton. You're like, oh, my God, Andy Dalton's going to be a quarterback. But now you guys have a bright future with Justin Fields. And so I'm excited. I was super excited about that. I think that was the best thing probably from the draft that did happen. Colts fans out there, I'm one of them. We got a great defensive end from Michigan. So I'm super excited about that. And as long as our line can stay healthy this year, with Carson Wentz behind, I think we can do pretty well. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm excited for the young quarterbacks and everyone who got drafted. I know we all knew Trevor Lawrence was going to go first.
Yes.
There kind of wasn't anything. Nobody was going to go before him. I know he was potentially going to declare for the draft last year, but didn't want to go to the Jets. So
and the
he
Jets
stayed.
did what they do best and not tank and win at the wrong time. So now they have the second pick.
They did, and they took Zach
Wilson.
Zach Wilson from BYU. So
that was a good pick. I've seen him rise up through the draft prospect. I originally wanted to get him because I thought Justin Fields was going to go higher, but then he had a great offseason and I ended up going second. So basically with these young quarterbacks, well, before we can talk about this, I am hyped. We are ready. We got the next quarterback, and I am, this is definitely
step in the right direction.
Huge step in the right direction. I'm so happy our office did not mess this up for us. Almost did another. I thought they were going to pull another Mitchell Trubisky situation. We're going to go get Mac Jones instead of Justin Fields.
I actually like Mac Jones, but go ahead.
I was going to be so crushed if we. Justin Fields is definitely, he's the best quarterback in this draft. I think he is better than Trevor Lawrence.
I would have to disagree with that, but
yes. And what makes me so excited for him, he's got such a high IQ, and that's a big, big thing that young quarterbacks struggle with when they first come to the NFL is like learning the reads, learning, the new system and everything.
It's such a whole new ballgame. Like going from the college to the NFL, it's not the same whatsoever. You can't put up. You're Patrick Mahomes, but you can't put up 6 touchdowns. You can't throw 6 touchdowns. Like, you're just not out here slinging and doing things like that. It's just the NFL is just completely different.
I'm just so excited. And hopefully this is a good idea for the future. So now into what my next one I was going to say is which one of these young quarterbacks you think will make, the first best impact on the team.
Best impact? Well, I kind of like how you said, like you were talking about Justin Fields. I think he'll have a big impact. I think he'll probably have the best impact. Even though I do think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback coming out of this draft. I think Urban Meyer will be a great coach. They did just sign Tim Tebow. They're going to here in the next week or something like that.
I'm excited.
So that's pretty cool. Trevor Lawrence is definitely very smart, and so I see him doing a lot of great things in Jacksonville. But I think Justin Fields is just going to impact like the Bears a lot, and he knows what kind of culture it is and what everybody wants and what he wants. But as long as he stays protected, and that was the Colts issue with Andrew Luck, as long as you can protect that QB, he will stay and not retire. So just keep that in mind. But, I do like Mac Jones, and I did kind of say that earlier. And the reason I say I like Mac Jones is I don't like Alabama. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, as you can see by my shirt. But I think Mac Jones is going to play well. He fit pretty well at Alabama. Yes, they always usually have the best players, but I thought he fit in well. And then he's going to play under Bill Belichick, which is another great head coach. You go from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick. I think that's probably two of the best coaches that you could be coached under, which is really cool for the kid. And I think he'll fit in the Patriots system well. So I don't think that they'll win maybe more than 5 games this year, but I think that he will play pretty well though.
Yeah, and outside Trevor Lawrence, he's probably gonna have this for sure secure starting spot week 1. But all these other quarterbacks, Wilson's gonna have to worry about Garoppolo if he might be gone. If Aaron Rodgers comes to San Francisco, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And then Mac Jones, he's got Cam Newton just signed a 1-year deal there, so now there's gonna be quarterback competition there.
Absolutely.
And then Justin Fields, the Bears went out and got Andy Dalton, so now there's going to be conflict there. So
I don't think there'll be
Trevor Lawrence might be.
I don't think there'll be any conflict there.
I hope there isn't, but knowing how Matt Nagy is, he's basically what I see out of this is they're going to want to start Andy Dalton the first week and then hopefully move on because they promised him quarterback 1 when they brought him in. And then they go out and draft a quarterback. Thank God.
They absolutely did. Yes, they did.
Thank goodness. So, it's summertime. There's not a whole lot of football, but there is the draft class of the Hall of Fame 2021. So let me take a look at the people who all made it. Here you go. We got, notable people, Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson and Calvin Johnson, probably the three biggest names on this list.
Yep.
Congratulations. Much, much earned and deserved. But, here's the last two, the 25 finalists we saw. And Riley, I just want to know, who was a snub, quote unquote. I like to use that term when we, for NBA, the All-Star game, snubs. Who got snubbed out of the Hall of Fame?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm more of an NBA fan than I am an NFL fan, so I haven't watched too much NFL growing up. And I mean, there's some of these players on here that I don't know, especially like the older ones. But I mean, going off the ones that I personally know, I mean, I see Reggie Wayne there. I see Patrick Willis as well. And maybe one of them got snug because they both had great careers. But personally, I mean, who is in the draft or who got selected? I mean, don't get me wrong; these are great people. You got Jared Allen, you got Calvin Johnson, who arguably one of the best wide receivers in the game to play. It's so sad to see that he retired, but Peyton Manning being one of the best quarterbacks as well, and then Charles Woodson, one of the best DBs in the game. So me personally, I like who they picked, but I mean, of course, I think there's more than probably one or two snubs on here. But just with a big list like that, and only selecting 5, I mean, I think it's really hard to just take those people. And over time, these players or ex-players will get in to the Hall of Fame. Just unfortunately, when you have big name players like the ones that were selected, other people are going to be outshined.
Yeah, you're right. I just hate that the Hall of Fame just seems to have a bias against wide receivers. Like Torrey Holt should already be in the Hall of Fame. Reggie Wayne should already be in the Hall of Fame. Hines Ward should probably be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's just so tough how they're just not. It took forever for Marvin Harrison to get in. Seeing Clay Matthews, I know he was always kicking us around against the Bears, but he was one hell of a player. It deserves to be, notified for the Hall of Fame.
And I think if they selected more than 5, it'd be easier. But to only really select 5 out of a huge class, it's just kind of crazy to me. I think if they didn't select 25 people and only select 5, I think maybe if you did 10.
Actually, hold up a second. I think that Clay Matthews is his dad because I think the other one still plays. Because he was on the Rams last time I checked.
Oh, yeah, he was on the Rams last time I checked.
Yeah. But, yeah, as Jared Allen, great player, always day in and day out. Most of his career with the Vikings, came to the Bears for a short stint. He did have a chance to win a ring when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl back in 2015, but that just did not work out. So, yeah, congratulations, everyone who made it to the thing. And
absolutely.
Riley, do you have anything else you want to talk about today?
I don't really think so. I almost went to the Pacers and Lakers game, so I was kind of upset because AD and LeBron were questionable. They just weren't sure they're going to play today, so I was like, I'm not going to go. But I wish I would have went. But hey, you know what? That's okay because I'm here making this podcast, and I've had lots of fun. And I was glad that we got to do this. We haven't done it in a minute. So to get back in the swing of things, it was nice, and I'm excited to get back on the drive whenever you have me next.
Hopefully, be this time next week. Hopefully, trying to keep this regular and keep it going. Till then, thank you for tuning in. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Go like the pages. Go like Reagan's Corner. Shout out to all the people that subscribe, sponsors, everything out there. You guys are the bomb, the best. And I'm Nathan Beagle. This is Riley Johnson. I'll catch you all next time.